Hey everybody, welcome in or welcome back to the channel. This is Miss Tarot and I am back again today with another general reading. Right now what we're going to do is just take a look and see what energies are most prevalent right now. So if this particular energy card kind of sounds like something you are maybe going through, this reading is probably for you. Okay, so we're going to use the Enchanted Map Oracle deck, and we're also going to use the Stained Glass Tarot today. And then of course, we'll get some oracle cards at the end for a little bit of additional spirit messages. Okay, kind of our usual, right? So I'm going to push this over here. I'm going to do my best not to blow out the candle with my shuffling like I do all the time. So we're going to go over here. Don't mind me. And I, of course, the squeaky chair. I haven't replaced it yet. Really annoying, I know. But as much as I try, these readings are never quiet. There are people outside today riding dirt bikes. It's a beautiful day, and I don't know why, but they're riding it up and down the neighborhood, and it's like here and there. So if you hear that, that's what it is. Okay, please, Spirit, tell us what the overall energy is for those who are interested right now. That was just a loud car. Okay. 37, cleaning house. 37 not being a master number, that will reduce to 10. So cleaning house, it's kind of, giving me end of the cycle type vibes. And it has a lot to do with the preparation for that, right? Because when we're cleaning house, think of it just like spring cleaning. You're cleaning out the clutter, Say that 5 times fast, okay? To make way for better things, right? So, when you see the clearinghouse card, it's a big signal to declutter your life. It's a time to get rid of, all these unwanted things in your physical home, but also release what no longer needs to be in your life, right? So things that you no longer want or even truly need. So, also taking care of unfinished business, right? The whole point is to have a clean slate, not have these things lingering. So if it's something that needs to be finished, wrap it up in a nice little package and bow and send it on its way. And if it's something that needs to leave, get the broom out and sweep it away, right? So the feeling of freedom as you do these things is really going to make it worth your while, okay? Because I do think that you may be holding on to things that are probably no longer in your best interest, and maybe you don't even realize it. So kind of really pay attention to what is worthwhile and what's bringing you joy in your life and what's not. I'm going to get some information from the tarot, but basically, I don't know. I get these funny little YouTube shorts, and it must have been like a house cleaning show or something like that. But there was this lady who was trying to help people clean out their closet. Maybe it has something to do with hoarders. I don't know. But she was holding up things, and she was like, in 5 seconds, tell me, does this bring you joy? And if they can't figure it out, or if they say no, then it goes in the trash bin. And I guess that's kind of the same thing. Maybe not to the extreme that she was, but, is it bringing you joy? I don't know. Is it bringing you joy? If not, you should probably let it go. Because we just want room for joy and improvement and everything else, right? Okay. The Hanged Man. Ooh. What we got going. Interesting. Let's see. Is that it for now? I kind of feel like, oh my gosh, I knew you were getting so many major arcana. I knew the Magician was going to come out. I just had this feeling. Okay. All right, that is enough, I think. So, let's see. The first one that came out was the Hanged Man. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, yes, this is very much grounded in stability, isn't it? Then we have the World. Oh my gosh. The Queen of Swords. We had the Magician actually come out before the Lovers, and we had the 10 of Wands. And I'm going to do my best to make sure all of this is in frame for you so that you can see these absolutely beautiful cards. So, squeaky chair, stop it. Let's take a look and kind of start from, we already talked about clean house, but let's kind of start with the Magician, okay? We're going to start with this core, the center of the reading. So with the Magician and cleaning house at the heart of this reading, there's seems to be a very clear message to me that you are the conscious architect, okay, of this house cleaning. This card is going to represent your willpower as well as your ability to bridge, you know, your inner desires and pair it with physical action. Okay, so it reminds you that the resources for change, like inspiration, emotion, practical action, as well as, you know, a good, well thought out process is already on your table. You just have to pick them up and use them. You have the tools. Okay, so let's kind of talk about how we're going to do all that. Okay, the Hanged Man. So this card is about a pause and also finding a fresh perspective. So before you start tossing things out, you know, willy-nilly, really make sure you look at them from all angles, even upside down, right? Like the Hanged Man. This is not going to be a time for rushed action. This is an enlightened type pause to ensure that you're releasing what no longer serves you or your higher self. You know, where do you want to be? Does it help you get there? If not, goodbye. Now here we go with the Queen of Pentacles. She's going to be that nurturing, practical foundation of your so-called house. You know, she's the stable, she's the stability and resource queen, right? As you clean, you have to be able to do this with a spirit of self-care and abundance rather than lack. Okay, she asks you to stay grounded because she is very much the queen of grounding. And she asks you to keep what grounds you and what makes you feel secure, and making also sure that your environment, you know, your surroundings, the things that you interact with every day, your structures are going to support your physical well-being, okay? Because you can't have one without the balance, all right? Now let's kind of talk about the process of releasing, okay? So the Queen of Swords, this little beautiful queen right here, she's going to be your cleaning specialist. She's going to be that guru who comes in and is like what I talked about in the beginning, you know, the one that says, does this bring you joy? Okay, no, you know what? Let's go. She's going to bring in that sharp logical edge that needs to cut away all that emotional clutter, because I don't want to say she's ruthless, because she's not, but she's very decisive. Okay, and there's no room for squishy feelings. It's like logic and, you know, let's get away, cut the illusions out. No more illusions, no more emotionality tied to this stuff. So pretty much use her clarity to be honest about what's objectively kind of being your anchor. So what's dragging you down, but also remember, you know, like I said, she's not that harsh. She does have a sensitive side, but she's the one that holds firm in her boundaries. Okay. She's got the boundaries, but at the same time, she honors what's in her heart. So, you know, again, balance. My gosh, if we ever hear the end of maintaining balance, I don't think that will ever be the case. Now, this card, the World here, I'm really thinking that this signifies the completion of a major cycle. And we kind of talked about that a little bit too with the cleaning house, because it really suggests that the cleaning you are doing isn't just about, you know, fixing those small things. It's about finishing a whole chapter of your life so that you can step into something brand new and maybe a lot more expansive of a reality, right? So, when it gets a little complicated is kind of when we get to the, you know, to the Lovers, because, you know, this card can highlight with the whole cleaning house theme is that this could also be about relationships and core values and choosing what aligns with your true self and letting go of the connections or so-called loves that are out of balance, or no longer reflect who you're becoming. So if there are some relationships that you are outgrowing, mentally and emotionally, through no fault of their own, they might be exceptional people, but there is a time and a reason for people coming in and going out of your life. And some people are here for a lifetime, some people are here for a season, and they teach you things and then you move on. Nobody says to cut ties, but recognize that this person may not be the help you need to get you where you want to be, or is weighing you down. Okay. So just be really, really honest with yourself about that weight you're carrying, which, honestly brings me to the 10 of Wands. This card is all about carrying that heavy bundle. Okay. It acknowledges the things that you're releasing and that they've been a massive burden lately. So, this card is kind of like that final push. Okay. Once you lay, the 10 of Wands down, that huge bundle, you're finally going to have the freedom to move forward. There's that freedom that we were talking about with cleaning house, the freedom that you're going to feel from setting this aside or just getting rid of it, whatever, is really going to be liberating for you. Okay. So you're going to finally have the freedom to move forward without being weighed down by responsibilities that aren't truly yours to bear. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get some advice do I want to do an oracle deck yet? Now let's get a little bit more tarot. So for advice, I hate this chair. Let's see if we can get 3 cards as to how we're going to move forward. Okay. Oh. Okay. So we have the moon at the center. We have the 8 of Swords. Okay, that's all about release. And we have the Emperor. Okay, so what does this mean for you in terms of advice from tarot? Well, this is, honestly, to me, it feels very straightforward. And I think it's almost like a continuation or a confirmation of what we already talked about. Because, when we talked about the Queen of Swords cutting through the illusions, that's what the 8 of Swords is all about. And I really think it's funny that she came out here because, notice with the 8 of Swords, the woman is never truly locked in. Her feet are free. The swords are only surrounding her, not touching her. So, the stuck that you might feel about letting go is really something that your own mind is creating. Okay. So 3 cards of advice. When it comes to the 8 of Swords, they're telling you, take off the blindfold, identify the shoulds and can'ts and, what ifs that are keeping you stationary, because you're not powerless. At least you're not as powerless as you think. Definitely not. And you have the ability to simply walk away from the mess. Now, when it comes to the moon, the moon, especially since it comes with clearing house and the magician, this one has a lot to do with trusting your intuition, because cleaning house can be terrifying, right? It often involves stepping into a lot of unknown, and the moon is very much represents, anxiety and confusion that can arise during these types of transitions. So, when logic fails and, it's really hard for you to see the path ahead, that's where the moon steps in, and it really tells you not to force a decision based on fear. It's kind of listening to your own intuition and your own subconscious type advice. So just, the main advice here is to be patient with the process. The moon is going to advise you to wait until you have more clarity before making a final massive leap, because, this is the time to explore maybe your shadow side and the hidden reasons why you've held on to this so-called clutter in your life, for so long. Okay. With the Emperor, that's like straight up reclaiming your authority, right? That's, putting on your big pants and being the authority and main control over your life like you should be. And, this is structure and boundaries and order. And, this card is kind of the person who creates a safe and structured environment. So he's going to say what rules or what boundaries, what, protocols and policies, whatever, will protect my new life. So the overall messaging here and advice with the Emperor is to, step into your inner authority. Stop being passive and start being a little bit more assertive about your needs, okay? You're going to need a concrete plan or even a routine, a structured routine that's going to keep your life, which is your house, cleaning house, in order, and it stays clean and that old draining habits don't start creeping back in, okay? So that, we will let that go. I'm going to get you some messages from your oracle. I don't have any room to shuffle, do I? No, I don't. Oh my heavens. Okay. Let's try that again. Let's get you a little bit. I'm just going to shuffle a couple times because, these have probably been shuffled. But... Okay. All right. Let's just see. Let's get 3. 1. Resolving issues. Yeah. 2. And what else, Spirit? Last one. Thank you for sticking with us. Okay. I'm going to drop things. Okay. Well, I'm taking that because it flipped and this one fell out. So I guess Spirit has 4 for you. Okay. Resolving issues, peace, manifestation, and wisdom. Okay. So it's funny. Wisdom came out with the Emperor, as well as the Queen of Pentacles, and this one is all about knowledge gained through experiences or from a wise counselor. Yes, absolutely. So also be on the lookout for people who try to help you with this process in a very non-biased way. There might be somebody who's gone through this just like you have and may have some pearls of wisdom to share with you. Okay. Now, when it comes to manifestation, it's funny because it came right out on top of that Magician. And this has a lot to do with the law of attraction. Obviously, it says thoughts become things, and that is such a strong belief of mine when it comes to how we talk about ourselves and to each other. I remember reading a very interesting, I don't know if it was an article or some sort of study on how our self-talk affects us. And because your brain doesn't know the difference when you tell it something. It's really interesting. And I think that's kind of what cognitive behavioral therapy is all about, is reframing and being able to take the negative thoughts and put them into a reframed way where it makes you grateful, as well as understanding that, this is within your control. Okay. Obviously, peace, it says peace and contentment are coming to you. And that was kind of what we were talking about with the freedom, right? The freedom of setting these wands down and having that peace and that structure, and just, as much structure. Life is never going to be super predictable, but as much structure as we can give ourselves really reduces that unpredictability. Life is going to be life. It's always going to be a roller coaster, but let's control the things that we can control. That's in our locus of control, right? And then obviously, because I did not go in order, we have resolving issues. So solving inner conflict with others, as well as healing past trauma. So for those of you who are doing the dirty work of healing that past trauma, take this as a beautiful sign that you are on the right path, because we all know that that is some serious heavy lifting. Okay. Speaking from experience, sometimes it's a lifetime of work, because I don't think there's any quick and easy fix when it comes to healing past traumas. Okay, so my heart goes out to you. I really hope that this reading actually helps you quite a bit to understand and bring you a little bit of clarity as to how you can move forward. Okay, those are all the messages I have for you today, beautiful people. Thank you for being here and tolerating all the noise and everything else. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. That really helps the channel. And definitely leave a comment down below if it resonates for you. I love hearing from you guys. Interaction is with my viewers is literally my favorite thing. Also, if you have any suggestions for another, a reading theme, please drop it in the comments below. I will do my best to do that for you. Okay? So that is everything. Thank you for being here. I'll catch you next time. See ya. Take care. Bye.